Iconic Nordstrom clothing retailer. It's closing up shop at the Santa Monica place after 15 years. Now, this is a mall that's been impacted by lack of walking traffic, not unlike some of the malls we've been covering in San Francisco. But this one specifically has the impact of the homeless crisis, along with the drug-fueled wackiness that goes on. We've got a couple of incidents that I think Nordstrom just said, enough. We are done. They've given their corporate excuses. Now we're going to get into the real reasons. Here we go. Here is the first video I will share with you. Police search for shooting suspect near Santa Monica Mall after officer injured. So you got a cop down, and because you got a crazy homeless individual, I mean, what could go wrong? You got a nut job running around shooting at people near a mall. Now, this isn't the first time. This is literally, I think, 6 days ago. Yeah, ABC 7, 6 days ago. Let's watch the video.
Hi, Mark Robles live here from ABC 7, Air 7, live over Santa Monica right now with this breaking news where there's been a shooting. A police officer injured in the incident and taken to the hospital. They are still looking for the suspect. We do see a SWAT unit on scene. Police asking the public to avoid the area near Santa Monica Place on 4th and
there you go.
We will bring you any updates as we get them when news breaks. Find out on the ABC 7 Los Angeles app, and these details coming up at 3.
Suspected gunman ID'd an officer ambush at upscale Santa Monica Mall. Santa Monica Place, where Nordstrom is. Now, Santa Monica Place is about 70% empty. Yep, that's right. So you've had the same situation go on all across the United States, a shift from brick and mortar retail, especially in clothing, to online. Now, Nordstrom, you get the Nordstrom experience, you get your own concierge shopper, if you're, into that, that's your thing. You get the Nordstrom brand. It's expensive stuff, but, for the most part, it's pretty good quality. So I enjoy going into a Nordstrom, but I also shop from them online. Now, if I was in Santa Monica, knowing that my local Nordstrom is near a mall that's had multiple shootings, and you've got a real issue with the homeless folks that are just whacked out of their mind, just a bunch of nut jobs running around. And this is what we talk about all the time. Corporate is going to say one thing, but we're going to read it, they're going to actually be saying another. And it's because we've got stories like this that we're looking at where you've got a nut job running around, a man suspected of opening fire at upscale Santa Monica Mall. Hey, you want to go shopping at Nordstrom? Santa Monica Mall. I mean, they just had a shooting. A nut job homeless dude on drugs just started randomly shooting at people at the mall. Maybe we don't go to Nordstrom. Maybe we don't go to the mall. Maybe we go elsewhere, somewhere where there aren't quite the homeless population. Police have identified the man accused of opening fire at a police officer Wednesday and shooting at a Waymo in downtown Santa Monica injuring 2 juvenile passengers. David John Hairston II, 31, was arrested Wednesday afternoon after he allegedly ambushed and shot at a police officer near the mall. And then he fled the scene, prompting a several-hour manhunt. He's believed to be homeless. There you go, right? He's being held in lieu of $1 million and is scheduled to appear in court Friday. These management of a massive company like Nordstrom, even if the store is making money, and I have no reason to believe this particular Nordstrom is not making money. They didn't say that it was, holding things down, but it is a matter of corporate liability. We don't want to have a store where there's a whole bunch of homeless, whacked out nut jobs running around that are capable of this type of violence, because the impact of that to the corporate name of Nordstrom, it isn't worth having that store open, knowing that this stuff is going on day in and day out. This was a mainstream story. This was literally calling out Santa Monica Place. and it's where Nordstrom's leaving, and it's 70% vacant. So all those factors go together, right? You got the people shifting away from going in to a Nordstrom and, buying stuff online. Santa Monica police are recommending multiple felony charges. Yeah, not a shocker. Let's hear what the media has to say. Now, why did the Nordstrom shut down?
The Nordstrom location in downtown Santa Monica is officially closing its doors next month. The store sits inside the Santa Monica Place Shopping Center. NBC4's Camila Rambaldi joins us live from Santa Monica with reaction from business owners nearby and what this means when it comes to vacancies in that area. Camila.
Hi, Annabelle. Yes, this store has been at this location here for over a decade. A Nordstrom spokesperson.
15 years.
Last day of business will be August 26th. It is still not known what will come next. I spoke with some business owners in the area, some calling the announcement devastating for Santa Monica. For the last 15 years, this Nordstrom on 220 Broadway has been greeting locals and tourists, people in the community calling it an anchor of Santa Monica Place.
I come here and I shop. I buy things.
The 3-level store that's been here since 2010 is shutting its doors next month. The retailer announced the closure on Monday.
I'm very annoyed, frustrated, disappointed, and mad.
And who did you vote for? Just asking for a friend. Who did you vote for? Because if you didn't vote for the folks that are allowing crime to run unfettered, if you didn't vote for, people just taking all the drugs they want and just homelessness, a bunch of nut jobs running around, then I'm pretty sure your friends and family did. I'm pretty sure your neighbors did. This didn't just happen overnight. This is ongoing, right?
To leave. Back where I'm from in Texas, a lot of department stores are closing due to just less people coming in.
A statement from a Nordstrom spokesperson to NBC4 reads in part, "We believe we'll be best able to serve customers in the area by leveraging our surrounding stores and through our digital channels. Decisions like this are never easy, and we understand the impact they have on our team members. We are committed to taking care of our employees through this transition across the."
Okay, so let's break that down for 1 second here. We believe we'll be best able to serve customers in the area by leveraging our surrounding stores. Not this one. This one, not so much. We're not going to leverage this one, which by all appearances appears to be normal. But Santa Monica has a known homeless issue. I mean, as do a lot of parts of, greater Los Angeles. But Santa Monica Boulevard. You want to talk about lyrics to a song. You've got just these legendary areas in Santa Monica Pier. And they've been overrun by homelessness, just absolutely overrun. And so Nordstrom is saying, leveraging our surrounding stores, but not the Santa Monica one. So continue to shop at our other Nordstrom stores that don't have the impact from the nut job homeless folks running around that store and through our digital channels. We talk about that all the time. Shop with us online. You won't get accosted buying our stuff online. You won't get shot at by a deranged homeless dude on drugs who's also taking pot shots at the police and injuring them. And that's a story that came out 6 days ago. And there's another story, basically same deal. Some, whacked out dude, probably homeless, probably on drugs, had another violent episode. And so this has been happening time and time and time and time again, to the point where you have these decisions like this are never easy. Yeah, they are. Let's see. We make decent money, but not enough to offset the impact of somebody being killed at our store, or of a security guard or a police, officer having to kill someone that's having a breakdown, because you've got a homeless population there that is just off the hook. And this is what happens. And that is part of the reason you have a mall that's just been emptied out, just like San Francisco, just like Westfield, mall center there, just emptied out. You got a bunch of lunatics running around. People don't want to go shopping there. They don't want to go into these areas where this kind of thing could happen. And we understand the impact they have on our team members. Okay. Yeah. And you know what? They're going to do everything they can to keep those employees going at another store making money where they don't have the liability of just a whole bunch of, people that could possibly kill others randomly. That's going to have that real negative corporate impact, right? So let's keep going.
Taking care of our employees through this transition. Across the street, business owners like Miriam Amid on the 3rd Street Promenade sharing their reaction.
It is sad because we needed something like this high end.
She tells NBC4 during the pandemic, there were a number of stores that closed in the area. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
More than they open. They are closing at fastest speed than they are opening.
Despite the closures,
unfortunately, I'm not surprised about Nordstrom.
Some say there are new businesses coming to the area too.
There have been a lot of vacancies. This block is recovering. These places are mostly leased and under construction. We're starting to adjust. It's going to take some time.
Back here on Broadway,
adjust.
Wait to see what will replace this iconic location. What would you hope to see here?
Nordstrom stay.
Okay. Who'd you vote for?
A statement from the city of Santa Monica this afternoon reads in part that the city is focused on driving economic growth and supporting local businesses. The statement,
yada, 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 yada. Kind of getting into this article. This is something that caught my eye. Macy's store at the Block downtown Los Angeles closed earlier this year as part of the company's plan to shut down some 150 underperforming locations by 2026. All right. So you got a whole bunch of Macy's stores, and quite frankly, I don't know how Macy's stays in business. I don't think the quality of their stuff is great. I don't enjoy going into the store. When it was the Bon Marché, it was great. Bon Marché was awesome. Frederick and Nelson was awesome. Those are, both local. And now, not so much. Not so much. You got Macy's took over, and you're like, With the closure of Macy's location has left downtown LA without a major department store for the first time in 150 years. Now, what does that tell you? What does that tell you? You've got no major retail big department store in LA, in downtown LA, in 150 years. Cleared out. They've all left downtown LA. So you're going to go to the burbs to do all your shopping because the burbs have less homeless than are concentrated in this area of Santa Monica. While Party City closed some of its locations as the company filed for bankruptcy, CVS and Walgreens also announced plans to close hundreds of stores in 2025 and over the next few years. So now we're just trying to detract from why Nordstrom's has closed. Right? We've got some of the financials. The closure comes as Nordstrom reported robust financial results for the fourth quarter of 2024. So it's not because they're hurting for money as a company specifically, and it's not necessarily because this store was a major underperformer, or at least they're telling us, but there's definitely the liability issue. You got some nut job running into your store doing weird things, That doesn't exactly scream upper end quality Nordstrom environment that shoppers want to go shop in. With the company delivering revenue, comparable sales, and earnings at or above the high end of its fiscal 2024 outlook, retailer posted fourth quarter net earnings of $165 million or 97 cents per diluted share with earnings before interest. Okay, customers responded positively to the strength of our offering between both banners in the fourth quarter. So you got the Nordstrom CEO going, things are okay. Just not at this one store, Santa Monica place. We maintain the momentum, yada, yada. Growth, 4%. Nordstrom Rack, 3.5%. Santa Monica closure reflects broader retail industry trends. It's so interesting. That's true. But the ones that they close always have some kind of safety issue to them. And, management never wants to talk about that. They never want to badmouth that community because they probably have other stores nearby. In this case, not the case. but they want to continue doing business in the state of California, and they don't want to necessarily come right out and go, good Lord, that area is just an absolute effing hellhole. That's why 70% vacancy rate. So they can't really come out and say that. But when you've got news stories from 6 days ago, and this announcement was made on Monday, hey, we're closing down. Our final day will be in August. The closure of Nordstrom is the latest in a string of troublesome news for the once thriving downtown mall. Prison Place's commercial real estate firm managing $2.8 billion in assets has been appointed to manage Santa Monica Place Shopping Center after its previous owner, Masaryk, defaulted on a $300 million loan. 527,000 square foot outdoor retail center is now controlled by court-appointed receiver. So everybody left the mall. Mall got shut down during COVID. Everybody left the mall. All the businesses started leaving because California just had a horrific shutdown. I mean, so did Washington State, but I don't think nearly as bad as California. And now you got a situation, $300 million default. So the entire mall has gone sideways. It just has, including ownership, who said, you know what? The number of tenants we've got, we can't continue to meet payments on what you've got going on here. The mall faces severe challenges with a nearly 70% vacancy rate. Once home to luxury retailers and department stores, it now primarily attracts visitors to the Caton's Children's Museum, Cheesecake Factory, and Din Tai Fung. Who doesn't like Din Tai Fung? It's really good. Yeah, it's like dumplings and stuff. It's delicious. It's absolutely. Yeah. Center has found some success with rotating pop-up attractions. When you have a mall that had at one point in time $300 million in debt, rotating pop-up attractions aren't going to be the tenants that you need long-term. They're good for taking up space. They're good for mixing up the clientele of the people you have occupying your mall. But pop-up food attractions ain't going to do it. Not going to do it. All right. We've got one more here. Look at AOL. Look at this one article in AOL. And there's, Santa Monica has struggled with high-profile robberies in recent years and an increase in the number of people living on the street. It's the first time we really get to the root causes after all this nonsense. Last week, the police arrested a man accused of opening fire at a police officer, Santa Monica Place Mall, and shooting at a Waymo vehicle. Well, at least he didn't light it on fire. Another officer is attacked and injured there last year. So this is the second attack that's happened. So Nordstrom Corporate is very aware of these scenarios and very aware they could have been drawn into this. Because what if one of their employees gets killed? What if one of their store shoppers gets killed? The outlook of that, the optics of that are just terrible, terrible. Nordstrom started as a shoe store, yada, yada. Okay, so, sometimes randomly you got to leave it up to AOL to bring you the news. I mean, it's almost as if it's like the folks in California don't want to recognize that homelessness is such a big impact on retail. They don't want to go down that road because then they'd have to address it all over because it's all over. And in doing so, then you go down this rabbit hole of, well, how do we make it better? Well, you get people into treatment, you get people into mental institutions, or you incarcerate them. You don't have any other real options. And for all the people living on the street, and that's literally what we're talking about. We're talking about people with mental issues, addiction issues, oftentimes a combination, and they don't want to get off the street. They don't want to go into detox. They don't want to go into recovery. They don't want to go into a place where maybe they get back on their medication. They don't really want to do that. They just want to run around the streets and do drugs and shoot at cops and the news stories support that. This is what you've got going on in that neighborhood. So even if Nordstrom is making money, at that location, you've got to reduce your liability and you've got a safety factor. And it's the safety factor that I think is being wildly, wildly underestimated in all of these store closings. Nobody wants to talk about that because then you have to admit Public safety is not a thing in the Santa Monica Place shopping mall. It's not a thing. You don't effectively have public safety. You have a lack of public safety, and that's what management from Nordstrom identified as part of their decision-making process. And they said, closed, gone, right? I mean, they did. And this is the end result of policy. You let people run around. You let a bunch of people live wherever they want. You let a bunch of people do drugs, and we all look the other way. Oh, yeah, it's all right. It's great. I mean, that guy's been doing drugs for 30 years, and boy, he looks like it. And he might walk into Nordstrom, and who knows what he's going to do at that point? We just don't know. And if you've got dozens of those running around on your streets in your neighborhood, and you're a suit and tie dude, you're high up at Nordstrom, you take a walk through, you look around, you read the police reports. Oh, that's not good. Oh, that's not good. Our mall was named in that news story. It's not good. PR is not good for those folks. This is a case where any PR is good PR. Not when it comes down to a shooting with a cop involved and a homeless individual. Right? Those things that's not the direction you want to go. But what is so interesting is that you have to go to so many different sources to kind of come up with, well, why did this closing really happen? Because Nordstrom Corporate said they're making money. So is it just this one store? Well, how come just this one store? It's in Santa Monica. You're going to have a bunch of people with money able to afford shopping there. So what's going on? Yeah, you got a situation where you're in an area where things are not conducive to the Nordstrom corporate mantra of, hey, we sell really nice clothes. We want to provide you a really nice shopping experience. And they're not able to do that at a comfort level with the safety factor that they've got going on. And you've got a mall that's absolutely gone sideways. And some of that has to do with who's walking around the streets outside, who's coming into the store. We've talked about that extensively in San Francisco, right? Westfield Mall, no longer Westfield Mall. Because you got a bunch of weirdos that, come in and poop on the elevator because they can't make it to the bathroom because they're doing so many drugs. It's mind-blowing, but that's the reality. So when you see a one-off of like a Nordstrom closing up, that's when you're like, oh, what's going on there? What's happening there? Because it's a one-off, and you've got news stories that basically tell you what the deal is. What is the dealio? Public safety isn't a high enough priority for local officials to keep what is paying your bills, businesses, in place. They're going somewhere else. They're going to the community surrounding where you've got less homelessness. They're going online. That's what they always tell us. Make sure you shop with us online. Oh, okay, because going into that store, I might get killed. Well, yeah, we didn't really want to say that, but that might be the case. All right. Okay. Makes you want to do all your shopping online, doesn't it? All right. That's it for me on this one. Thanks so much for being here. I'd love to have you subscribe, do all that good stuff. I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.